Hello. So it is 7:26 p.m. on the 7th of July 2020. Welcome to the Ethos podcast.
Nice.
Hi, Scarlet. How are you?
Drama free. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah,
Fine.
that was not dramatic at all.
No, it wasn't.
Of course, no drama.
No drama, no awkwardness, just
Nothing.
unconventional and smooth. How has the holiday treated you, or the long weekend rather?
My long weekend has been mixed. So it was
Yeah.
my birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy belated.
Yeah. Thank you. So
Cool.
yeah, I was out of town. I was in Lusaka. It was, you know, a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good. It
Great.
was
Great.
okay.
Get down to anything fun, cool. It was just hanging out with friends and
Um,
family.
I actually managed to find myself on a little vacation
Oh, okay.
with my friends. So I
Yeah.
was with Michi Zambia's sweetheart,
Okay.
and we went to we went and had like a little sleepover out of town, and then we
Samba
came back.
party.
Yeah, that was good. Just the
Nice.
two of us.
Oh,
Ah.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
so it was good.
Must be nice.
It was
Uh,
great, actually. We wanted to
Um,
go back. Immediately we left. We were like, oh my God, we're going back to Lusaka.
Yeah.
So it was
Bummer.
good. It was quiet and calming and it was fun.
Sweet. We usually start out, by asking our guests what they do and why they do what they do. So, who is Scarlet
So I'm a
to begin with?
musician, or I should rather say I'm a singer, songwriter,
Yep.
and performing artist. I think that the term musician should apply to someone that can also either produce or play an instrument. And I
Mm.
haven't quite learned how to do those things yet.
Well, you can play the vocal instrument.
So, yes, it's an instrument, but the
Yeah.
definition by default is that I'm a singer. So I'm a singer, songwriter, and performing artist. I love music and I love creating, and
Nice.
so that's why I do what I do.
All for the passion regarding the music, just
Yeah,
for the sake of creative.
not really. I mean,
Yeah.
also I'm a big talker. There's always like messages that need to be shared about different things.
Yeah.
It might be serious things, it might be fun things, but like having another medium by which I am able to say things is also um, an important contribution, I think,
Yeah.
to my purpose on this earth. And so that's like the main reason why I um I sing.
Cool. So,
Yeah.
how did you get started? Um, we could go
So
back to the inception of Scarlet. How did you come up with the name? How what gave you that?
I didn't come up with the name.
Oh, okay.
I didn't come up with the name. You have to
Yeah.
have a conversation with the person that came up with the name and ask him why he came up with the name. We
Okay.
were sitting and someone said, what do you want to be? And I said, well, I want to be like a jewel. And they were like, okay, so you want to be a ruby because your birthday is in July, and July, the birthstone for July is the ruby.
Yeah.
We Googled ruby. There were too many rubies. We Googled jewel. There were too many jewels. And they
Yeah.
were like, what about Scarlet? And I was like, okay.
And you
I
just you
literally
just went with it.
I have no attachment to the name whatsoever. I've wanted to change it a
Oh,
few times, but they were like, "Oh, we don't have, like, the cost of rebranding with a new name. after 10 years,
Yeah.
are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, okay, I'll keep the name. So we kept the name, but I'm not attached to the name. Um, I started out just singing hooks at So Good Entertainment. I used to sing choruses on songs for Critic and Myth, who doesn't rap anymore.
Yeah.
And I did like, stuff for Tylo and like different artists that maybe people don't know, but like underground hip hop acts.
Okay. Nice.
And that was where I started from. And then it was like, oh, do you want to write your own song? And then I wrote a song and it was like, oh, the song is actually nice. And then the song ended up being discovered by a radio presenter at Radio Phoenix, Belushi, and
Yeah.
that became like, oh, I want to meet her, and then it just blossomed into something else, which then became Scarlet.
Nice.
Yeah.
So okay, so you've got the name. You're doing hooks for underground artists and up and coming artists. When did it strike you, as far as like coming up with with a with a catalog, or rather a collection of songs, is concerned, like a concept or album, uh, project of sorts?
So I just
Did it
used
just
to sing
happen
for
there?
the sake of singing.
Yeah.
No, I just used to sing for the sake of singing. So I think I was singing for the sake of singing for almost 2 years. We just used to sing and record things.
Whoa, 2 years.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
so
We
so
just
were
used to
you?
sing. And so 2010, I was just singing, and then 2011 it was like, oh, do you want to do a show here,
Yeah.
or do you want to come and perform at this event, sing one song, and I did that. And then 2012, it was like, oh, do you want to put a project together? And I was like, okay. So we literally just picked songs that were already there
Yeah.
and just put them in there. And it was like, oh, I have an album.
So it was just a compilation of songs that you did over the
Yeah, they
years.
were just
Yeah.
there. They were just songs that were there, and we just worked on them. And then we did a video for Munisungi Banja. There was no plan. There was no process. There was no like, oh, we're working with these people. This is the production house. This is what
Yeah.
it's gonna look like. Nothing. There was no plan. It was literally someone just coming and saying, "Can I make an album cover for you? Okay, how much will you charge? 1,500. Okay, cool." We paid, and he made the album cover. It's like it was so loose, and it
Wow.
was very organic, which
Yeah.
I
So
suppose
yeah.
was nice. But organic in that sense is not really sustainable. So there was no plan. And so the next thing I have an album out and it's like, oh wow, you're really good at this. And I'm like, I am. But there was no plan. It wasn't I
Yeah.
didn't wake up and say, oh, I want to do this. It just kind of happened.
Yeah. Nice.
Do
Yeah,
you
so
think
that's
you were
how.
how much of latency do I have this time?
Do I think I was
Like
what?
in doing it in that way,
Do I think I was what?
like evading procrastination. Like some artists, when they decide to be too specific or too critical about their projects, some of them tend to delay like one album in 2 years and so on. Do you think that's partly why you did it that way?
No, like I said, there was no plan.
Yeah. No, that's what I
I
mean.
put
Like
out an
if
album
there
in
was a plan,
2012. No, I put out an album in 2012. This is 20. I haven't put out another one. That shows you that there was no
uh,
plan. So I can't answer that question. It doesn't actually apply to me.
yeah.
I like how sporadic it just happened. So are you a
Yeah,
person
it
that?
just happened.
Yeah. Are you one, uh, that believes in fate or coincidence? Like, do you walk that fine line, or do you lean more towards?
I believe in
Uh,
God.
oh, okay. Yeah.
And I think that
Interesting.
God has a plan.
Yeah.
And I think that because God has a plan, certain things happen, whether we like them to or not. I
Nice.
also believe that we do have free will, and the choices that like you have an array of choices. Like if you go to a dinner table, I
Yeah.
don't want chicken, I want beef or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like God puts you in the places and then lets you decide. I don't think anything happens by chance. I don't think you meet anybody just by like, oh, it just happened that I met this person. Yes, we say that things just happen, but I think that there's a plan for everyone. Everyone's on sort of like a path. Like you're put on earth
Yeah.
because it's stuff that you're supposed to do. And so in order for you to do those things, there are these choices that you have to make. And at the end of the day, I think you always end up at a conclusion. Like the end of the story is always a possibility that was meant for you,
Nice.
depending on what choices you make, is what I think. And so I don't think fate is a thing. I don't know what that means. I don't
Okay.
believe in coincidences. I think everything happens for a reason. And the fun part is in finding out what the reason is. Because,
Mm.
yeah, that's the fun part. Because half the time we don't know what's going on. And then 2 years down the line, it's like, oh my God, I met that person because this was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Right? I don't
Yeah.
think that just happens.
Yeah.
I believe in God. And I think that God puts things in order and then just lets you like move and find them. And if you're moving right, you'll find the things that are meant for you.
Awesome.
That's what I think.
Okay. I like that
Well
you have
said.
that perspective. I have a question, and Tumelo falls in this line of questions.
Okay.
If everything
Okay.
is like everything is determined, like there's a plan set, like God has set a plan for it, what would you say about disasters in that context?
So you know how everything like this bad, like everything has to be in balance, right? There's good and there's bad. There's happy and there's sad. There's
Yeah.
cold and there's warm. There's there's summer and there's winter. There's rain. There's the opposite of rain, drought. Um. So I think that there's good and there's bad. There's good and there's evil,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But this is my philosophy. Everybody is entitled to their opinions, and
Yeah.
everybody is free to disagree with me. But I think that even when a disaster happens, I've asked this question before, like if God is there and if God is so good, why do bad things happen and innocent people die or innocent people get affected? I think it's a valid question.
Yeah.
I believe in the Bible. The Bible says that his ways are not our ways, and it's not for us to know everything. So he probably knows better. I think if I could talk to anyone, like if someone said, could you choose somebody that you like to talk to and ask a bunch of questions and they tell you everything you want to know, I would choose to talk to God and ask him a bunch of questions. And that would be one of the questions. But I think that um, even when something happens that we don't really understand, that perhaps you take it like, oh, this is a bad thing that has happened, there's always something
Yeah.
in it that he will use. You understand?
Hmm.
We live in an imperfect world because we chose to live in an imperfect world. If you believe the Bible, there was a perfect world and there were consequences for doing the things that you were not supposed to be doing in that perfect world. So now we live in an imperfect world. I honestly think that if Eve did not eat that apple, there would never be such a thing as an earthquake.
Yeah.
But now we live in an
Uh,
imperfect world, which was of our
according to the
choosing.
Bible, yeah.
Yes, we live in an imperfect world, which is of our choosing. And so my philosophy says that because the world is imperfect, things that are not perfect will happen, such as disasters. And those disasters will affect people a certain way. But there's still opportunities for God to use. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good things always come out of bad things. It doesn't even matter how bad the thing was. There'll be somebody somewhere, we may not ever hear the story, but there'll be somebody somewhere where something good happened for them. And that was something that God used. That's what I think.
I really like your perspective. Like that's generally what real Christians believe. Like you have to understand the fault that we're in, like the world being fallen and so on. But then
Yeah, we
if
live in
like
an
you
imperfect world. Things
yeah,
die, things get degraded, things dry up. In a
yeah,
perfect world, you'd never see a dead flower. Flowers would just live forever. But we live
yeah,
in an imperfect world, so the flowers die. You know what I mean? So as a
yeah,
result, it might be the smallest thing like a flower dying or a leaf falling off, uh, a child being born with an eye that doesn't work or whatever. But all of those things are because the
yeah,
world that we live in is not perfect, and as a result, imperfect, inconvenient things,
yeah.
horrible things even, will happen because now we live in a paradigm that allows for good and bad. In a
Yeah.
perfect world, there would be no bad.
I think
But yeah,
heaven is that perfect world for for believers. But then
I
you
don't think
mentioned
heaven
that
is perfect.
it's not.
No, I don't think heaven fits into this whole thing. I think it's after.
Yeah.
Or after heaven, like New
No, I think
Jerusalem.
heaven is no, I think heaven is after. Like we live in the world. Like heaven is outside of this world. It's not
Yeah,
it's not part of this whole mess. Do you know what I mean? So you don't weigh it
yeah,
on the
yeah.
same scale.
Mm.
Wait,
We
I think you guys are actually on the same page here. So
We are. I'm like trying
yeah,
to pick a perspective.
yeah,
Like I actually totally agree because for me, I was just like looking at the eventuality. Like the only perfection we can look for is in the presence of God Himself, like heaven and other people talk about New Jerusalem, but right here on earth, it's not possible. Not before the end itself.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I wanted to ask a question, like connected to just what we talked about. You said you have had people ask you questions about like the disasters and bad things happening if
No,
it's in
I've
God's
asked those
plan.
questions.
Oh, you have asked those questions. Yeah, because my question was going to be like a child asks you why the parent has died. Like, how would you go through answering that question? It's like it's a very sensitive thing. How would you do it?
I don't know. Well, I'm the kind of person who always says you can never really answer a question until it's happened to you.
Yeah.
Like you don't know until it happens.
I
I
concur.
haven't lost a parent,
Uh,
so it's not a thing that I understand. I don't even try to understand it. For example, I'm in relationship with someone who has lost a parent. I don't understand because it's
Yeah,
never
yeah.
happened to me.
yeah,
I can be empathetic, I can
yeah,
be sympathetic, but I can never understand because it's never happened to me. So because I don't understand it, if a child were to ask me, to make it a very difficult question for me to answer because I don't know. A child comes and asks me, why has my mother died? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not for me to
I
know.
think I respect that position. I personally have the difficulty with people who come out so sure of themselves when they haven't really experienced it. Like a lot of people have lost loved ones, and then
Yeah,
I should come to someone and tell them, "Oh, you've lost someone. I also lost someone." It sounds very
I think it's disrespectful.
offensive. Like when I get
yeah.
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 Anyway, we sideswiped for a bit there. I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
ask about the inception of Scarlet. Like, when exactly did you
You
figure
want to
out
start
that?
talking about heaven and hell?
Right? We got in too deep too soon.
Yeah.
Just take every
Some
opportunity
conversation
you
first,
get.
right? Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna ask when exactly did you figure out that you could actually sing? Did you always know that you could do it growing up, or was there like a
The
moment
legend
in
has
time
it
when?
I've been
Yeah.
singing from before I could talk.
Whoa, chosen
What?
one.
Obviously, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But I've always loved music. Like I grew up in a house where music was like a normal part of daily life. Didn't matter what the music was, but music was always there in the background. There was always something playing. There was always my dad was always playing stuff. You know, my mom even now she's like likes to sing to herself or to us. She came sing happy birthday to me today.
Oh,
But I don't think of it in terms of like when was the moment. It was just music is just something that's always been natural to me.
yeah.
It's how I communicate, you know, it's how I get over things. It's like how I identify with people. It's just always been there. And so I would sing to myself, I would try and sing this and I'd be like, oh, I can sing that better. At the time I thought I could sing certain things better. I probably couldn't, but I've always had a really good ear. And so when it happened, it happened. I was 20, I was 23 when I first started singing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 33 now.
Oh,
And
nice.
when I listened to what I was singing when I started singing, I should not have been singing.
You should not.
It's terrible. But
Ah,
you have to start from somewhere, I think.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like, I
Even
wouldn't
now, I'm
agree.
probably not. Even now, I'm probably not the best singer I know, but I'm learning. I'm getting better.
And who did you grow up listening to? Like, which artists influenced your style or inspired you? I could start with
My
influence
dad
stuff.
listened.
Yeah,
My dad listened to a lot of jazz music,
nice.
so I have a lot of that in me. When I got a little bit older, I was obsessed with choirs. I love choirs. Um, choral arrangements in terms of voice, and then also contemporary choirs where you'd have, you know, like T.D. Jakes and his big mass choir,
Oh,
Yeah.
those
and like lots
like
of
the
brass
ones Beyonce
instruments.
was in.
Yes, well,
Isn't Kanye
we'll
doing
leave it
something like that?
alone.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that kind of thing
Yeah.
is what that's the stuff that I really, really loved. And
Oh,
then
cool.
teenagers, a lot of neo soul, a lot of oldies, funk, quiet storm. So, you know, there are people who I've discovered when I'm older,
Yeah.
but the vibe was very mixed. There was a lot of things. I loved Barry White just as
Oh,
much as I
nice.
loved Earth, Wind. I've always loved Earth, Wind and Fire. But because
Yeah.
of my dad, I really loved George Benson as well.
Sick.
Because
Yeah.
my dad played a lot of George Benson. Like,
Yeah.
because it's such a familiar sound to me, the guitar is my favorite instrument. So,
Nice.
you know, a lot of different sort of pieces to make the puzzle
Yeah.
uh, contributed to what this is now. So if you, I'll say like try to sound fancy and say my musical taste is eclectic, but it's really not. I don't like rock music. I don't like country music. It's,
Oh, you
there's
don't
much
like
of
rock
that
music?
no,
As in you're reversed towards it.
I can't listen to it. It literally makes me feel anxious.
Okay, before you
Your
say
panic
like
attack.
all rock music, is it like specific
Yeah.
types like
Yeah.
When I tell you,
Because
if I
there's
go to church,
subgenres. Yeah.
when I tell you, if I go to church and they're playing like a soft rock Hillsong song, and it's got that jing jing
yeah.
jing 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 jing, that's a wrap for me. I want to leave the service right
What?
there. It completely just makes me feel uncomfortable.
Oh my
Like
God.
if I'm in a mall, yeah, it's terrible. So there's things that there's things that I can be around, but I really just can't listen to them. I'm the kind of person, like if I'm
Yeah.
in a space and you start playing something and it's not, it makes me feel that way, I'll put my headset in. I don't actually care if it's rude. I'm
Wow.
old enough to be rude about things like that now. But like there's music that I just can't listen to. So I am sort of versatile, but
Yeah.
at the same time, there are things that are just like a hard pass for me.
I think Roomba does that for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
It's-
understand that.
Yeah.
For me, it depends on the type of Roomba. There's
Okay.
like some Roomba where I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Then there are other things where I'm like, oh, that's groovy. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, so with rumba, I'm kind of like in the middle, but rock music, I can't
It's
do it.
like
It doesn't matter
a
if it's
hard
soft or
no.
it's hard, heavy metal, hard pass. I can't do it.
I'm hurt, but will
Country
I will
music is the
recover.
same thing. I find country music so boring. So I feel, I'm telling you, and
You heard it
I'm in
here
the middle
first.
about reggae. I'm in the middle about reggae. I'm in the middle about dancehall. I'm in the middle about rumba. Like I'm kind of on the fence. But country
Okay, so
music and rock music, hard pass.
I think the way the distinction sounds like, it sounds like you're mostly on the Afro style or Afro side of music, because those genres, raga, reggae,
Nope.
soul, neo soul, you find them, most of them black.
So Afro is is the wrong thing to use, but also
Okay.
there are a lot of musicians that are currently making what would be termed as typical soul music, R&B music that are very white, and
Uh-huh.
I am a fan of a lot of them.
No, I'm just talking like
So
historically. Like if you see
yes,
jazz,
if you say historically, but no, you can't say that because Frank Sinatra was white.
yeah, but that's the thing. He was the exception back in the
I
day.
listen to a lot of smooth jazz, and a lot of smooth jazz musicians are white. Brian Culbertson is white. Peter White is white.
Yeah.
Like, so that's not the right distinction. Or like on the surface, that's what it might look like, but in actual fact, it's not that.
Yeah. So what was that about black music? Black and white.
Yeah, I was
Such a
saying
sensitive topic during this period. Anyway.
no.
No, it's
So
not.
this is the thing.
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is this is the thing. I very much love black music. I love black music above all other music, right? I'm black. Obviously, I love black music. However,
But I actually agree with your sentiment before. To be honest, we shouldn't be distinguishing music by by
yeah, so I was
color.
gonna say I love black music. I do love black music, but music is
Yeah.
music, and so the distinction is incorrect to say that, because there are people who you have K Michelle. K Michelle is singing country. I don't listen to her anymore because I don't like country. Right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily got anything to do with the source. It's about the genre, sound, the use of instrumentation. That's what I dislike. So for
Yeah.
me, the distinction is not a race thing. However, yes, in the typical sense, the historical sense, a lot of these things, a lot of these genres and subgenres are black music. So that is true, but it is the distinction between what I like and what I do not like. I just
Yeah.
like the way certain things sound because there's black music that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kalindula.
Not necessarily. It depends on what the topic is in the song. That's another for me. Like
Yeah.
it's another thing for me. Is like I'm very sensitive when it comes to what's the
To the
content
content.
of the piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you consider
I'm the
yourself?
same.
Would you consider yourself an old soul in that regard? Like, just looking at
Yeah.
the advent of like the new in vogue style of music and like
For example, he's saying
yeah.
Kalindula, but I don't like trap.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
you are averse towards that, as far as like the new wave is concerned. That's not, it doesn't do it for you.
It's not my vibe. Yeah.
Okay,
It's not.
yeah.
If I'm choosing between hip hop artists and you bring me Lil Somebody, I'll pick Common.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's my thing. I'll pick Common, I'll pick Black Thought, I'd pick, if you're gonna bring new people, I'd say like I'll keep J. Cole and I'll keep Kendrick.
Yeah.
But like you want me to go like Lil Uzi Vert? No. So that's my
Tech
thing.
Nine Tikashi.
Yeah, no.
No.
Tech Nine's not bad. Anyway, but in tandem, in not the 6ix9ine guy. I'm talking about Tech Nine. Tech Nine is actually pretty good.
Okay. Tech Nine is
But in tandem with that, you lean towards substantial, or rather substantiality in music, as far as like
Substance.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We invent words every day. It's cool.
Substance to make something substantial.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
So
lyrics do matter.
the
Yeah.
content, what is the song about? The lyrics might be basic, but what is the song about? What is
Yeah.
the message it's trying to send? How is it put together? Like wordplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it
does
mean something?
does it mean something to the artist, and as a result mean something to the listener?
Yeah.
Is it meant for something? Is it meant to make you feel
Or is it about
happy? Or is it
cars?
meant to like uplift you? Is it meant to make you feel encouraged? Is it meant to drive you? There are songs about cars that I think are amazing because they motivate me to get up and go to work. But the song was about cars.
Aston Martin music.
So
Go hard.
it depends on what is the content of the piece.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
there are other songs which you just like because of the way they sound, because they're, as my best friend says, sonically pleasing. So because something sounds nice, then it's like, oh, like that's catchy, or it
Yeah.
has a nice melody,
Yeah.
or on the hook there was that little sound that like made you. And those things I think are put deliberately in music. There are also songs which I don't know if you've seen like those YouTube clips of Jhené Aiko with her sound bowls, where she talks about how she uses sound to heal. And so she incorporates those sounds that she makes with the bowls into her songs. So
Yeah.
you're listening to the song might be about something else completely, but she had that in there and it has an effect on how you feel
Yeah.
mentally or emotionally. And
Yeah.
so that's another thing that like there's so many elements that go into making music that a lot of people overlook.
Yeah.
And as much as there's this mainstream stuff that is like popping and everything, that stuff is riding a wave. The wave is going to go up and the wave is going to go down, and then those things are going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
But there is music that had its own time, for example, that is now coming back because it had substance, because it meant something to people, because you played it at your wedding, you played it when your baby was born, or
Yeah.
whatever, because it had meaning, it had something to say, it had something, it made you feel a certain way and it was important. And
Yeah.
so those things are the things that move me, and they kind of inform the music that I make, is
Nice.
because I don't mind if it's not a banger, like if it's not in the club and everyone's like hype about it. I do mind if I put it out and nobody cares because it didn't make them feel anything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just to follow up with that, do you feel like being relevant is an important thing to you? Are you
Relevant to who?
exactly? Yeah, I was gonna say, are you picky as far as your fan base is concerned? Like, does it matter who listens to
No,
your music? Yeah,
no.
cool.
Because for me, it's not
Interesting.
about. They say like, what's your target market?
Yeah,
So who
yeah,
you like and
Ah.
that. In terms of branding,
yeah,
obviously, you have to put some kind of thought into it and be like, well, if you're thinking about it in terms of the numbers or in terms of what you're trying to get into your bank account,
yeah.
right? But I'm a performing artist.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I want to be able to get up and sing. A
Yeah,
kid likes it, or an old man likes it, or a guy on a street corner likes it. Somebody liked it. That's, I did my job. As an artist, that's where I come from.
yeah,
As a business person, I've had to find clever ways to get other people to decide what my target market is and where things are going to go and what things are going to look like and whatever,
yeah,
and stay out of that part of the process as much as I possibly can to protect the art, in terms of this is what I'm trying to create, and I don't want to get caught up in the
in the
In
business
the
of it.
machine of
I don't want to get
commerciality.
caught up in the machinery. I'll pay someone else to do that when I'm bowling.
Yeah.
You do the machinery, just let me create, because
So,
that's how I feel.
so do you
And I
have
don't want to get, I don't want to, I'm trying to protect that.
Yeah.
nice? Okay,
Awesome.
do you have a team that helps you out as far as that's concerned, like the business
Yeah, I do.
side of it? Oh, okay. And how has the landscape treated you ever since you like got into the music industry, like the Zambian music industry? Or maybe you're not only limited to the Zambian scene as far as
I was.
demographics
I'm
is
trying now. I'm trying now to break that ceiling
yeah,
because I was very much a Lusaka artist. I did well in Lusaka,
yeah,
and so like I said, there was no plan. So where I ended up is where I ended up, and I'm grateful for the
Yeah.
places that I ended up because I got some really good experience out of that. I got to meet some really amazing people. I got to perform on some really amazing platforms, you know, for different things and make connections that up to today still work for me. And so that was in that window. I don't have anything negative to say about where I was or where I went or what I experienced. However, there were certain
Yeah.
things about the business that I didn't understand. There were certain things about just what goes into it that I didn't understand because it's not something that I chose
yeah,
consciously. It was like, oh, I'm in it. Let's just keep rolling. And so while
Oh,
I
yeah.
was rolling,
Does
I
it?
was picking up dust. And so the dust that I picked up, now it's like, wow, this doesn't go with who I am as a person. And
Yeah.
so that kind of like changes how you feel about what you're doing. And then you can't do it anymore. So when you talk about the landscape of the Zambian music industry, the landscape is neither here nor there. There are people who are in it and they're doing well and they're doing whatever they feel like with whoever they feel like, wherever they feel like doing it, and it's working for them.
yeah,
Give that to another individual and they won't be able to survive 2 months. So it depends on who you are, it depends on who's helping you, it depends on what you're doing it for, it depends on what juju you use. But for me, I feel as though I created a niche. I lived comfortably in that niche until it was uncomfortable.
yeah.
I'm just coming back out to do what I love to do, whether it's in that niche or if I'm going to create a different one for myself remains to be seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Do you think it's for you specifically? Is it looking promising, like going further out, like reaching out further with your
This
music?
is what I have learned in the past years. I have an amazing mentor. You create what is promising. You. It's about you. I can sit here and say it doesn't look promising, so I'm going to give up. Or I can sit here and say I have tools to use, I have a voice, I have people that I know, I have places I can go, I have ideas. I'm going to create something that is promising. I don't believe that when you listen to how Burna Boy got to where he is now, and his mother is telling you that he was moving with a generator in the back of his car because where he was going to record there was no electricity. I don't believe that when he was doing that it looked promising. But
Yeah.
he created the world that he wanted for himself. You understand? And so for me,
Yeah.
I don't look at I don't look at anything outside of myself and say this is going to determine how far I go. I determine how far I go. I determine what I can handle. I determine whether I get paid or whether I don't get paid. Me, the effort that I put into it, the planning that I put into it, the preparation that I put into it, the people that I work with to get to where I'm trying to go, that is what is going to decide whether it is promising or not. I don't believe in looking at an external landscape and allowing it to inform what is in my mind about myself anymore. Because that is the problem.
Yeah.
That's why we don't move. Because we look and we say, it doesn't look promising. So maybe it's not a good idea. Let me go and work in a bank. Fair and fine. Do what you want to do to make yourself happy.
Causing
But you
self-defeat.
decide because it's your life. You don't get defeated by people. It's you that decides to give up and say, this is too hard for me. It's not the thing that will come and tell you, I'm too hard for you. You decide. So you decide what is promising, what
Yeah.
is not promising. For me, I've decided that I have got a brain and I have got people that are on my side and I have got a God that I pray to, and I'm going to put those things together to make the life that I want for myself and for my children and for my family and for my name to live on. I decide. So
Mhm.
whatever effort I'll put, as far as it will get me, that's what is going to be. That's how far I will go. And if it's not enough, it's not enough. But that's how far I will go. Whatever is outside of that is outside of that. It has nothing to do with me. I'm responsible for myself and what I can see and what I can imagine and how hard I can work. It's up to me. So questions like, does it look promising? Limits you, because it's you that decides whether something is promising or not the next person, not the situation, not the country that you live in. We like to say, no, in Zambia there's no this and there's no that and there's no this and there's no that. Meanwhile, your friends are buying things that you didn't know existed. Why? What's the difference? Do they not also live here? They have decided to make something work for them. Whether it's stealing or it's hard work is besides the point. But they are not limited by where I am and what other people think and what does it look like and whatever. They make a plan and they thrive. So
Mhm.
my philosophy is that if I want to bake a cake, I get up and I go and I buy butter, I buy flour, I buy milk, and I put everything that I've gotten and I bake the cake that I want. That's what I would do with my life because I have all the tools that are necessary for me to build the life that I want. It's not for me to sit and allow external things to determine. If someone comes and tells me you're not going to manage, are they God? They put me on this earth to tell me what I can and cannot manage. It's up to
No.
me. So even you, it's not about I'm sitting here, things do not look promising. What do you want? When you look at your life, what does it look like? What do you want it to look like? What do you have to do to change the picture? Do that. That is what is promising. Yourself.
Mm.
You're a
Cool.
motivational speaker as well.
Yeah.
No, I just like,
I
in life
knew that
you have to
question would come this far.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Did you have any?
Because most people like to. Oh, sorry. Most people like to discourage themselves with expectations instead of like looking at the efforts you're actually putting into. I've seen a lot of hardworking Zambians just like you have much coming for you, but then all of a sudden you give in, you know?
I always say you have to pay attention to your internal temperature and the dialogue that you have with yourself about yourself. If you if you don't tell yourself the right things, it's very easy for outside things to convince you what your limitations are. I don't know Daniel, but if I look at Daniel and say, "Oh, you're young, you can't do this, you can't do that." If Daniel doesn't know who he is and he doesn't tell himself the right things in the morning, he will say, "This girl is older than me. She's telling me what she sees. Maybe she's right." Meanwhile,
Mm.
I don't know Daniel. Who am I to limit Daniel? Do I know the capacity of his lungs?
Yeah.
So I didn't. For me, I used to be like that. I would look and they say, "Oh, because this." The other day, I was having a conversation with someone. I said I wanted to buy something, and they started telling me, "No, but if you get this, the maintenance of this becomes." And I said, "Who has told you that I'll be unable to maintain it?
Mm.
Yeah.
You decide. You decide how far you go. Look at athletes. Athletes that have made it and made a name for themselves and broken through barriers that other people would probably look at and say, this is too much for me. There's so many things that people go through, even things that it may not ever come out on the news, it may not ever be discussed in the public domain, but it's stuff that happened that made that person who they are. And they decided that in spite of, I will be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did
I had a question with in regards to because we've seen you go on a I would say you came on the scene and you had songs like My Kinda Cute, Munisungile Banja and everything, and Tino Farah and my personal favorite, uh, My Kinda Cute actually was my personal favorite. But
Mm-hmm.
we've seen you again popping up like just this year, uh, do you think, would you say you went on a self-discovery? Because what I'm noticing right now is that you have so much views on how an artist should behave in the music industry and how you should conduct yourself as a person in that regard.
Yeah,
And you talked about planning. You didn't have so much planning in prior to releasing those beautiful songs, but would you say you're now more informed to carry on this journey, to carry on this music journey
Yes.
that you have?
Once bitten, twice shy. Did it one time, had a mental breakdown, said, what am I going to do? I don't want to sing anymore. For me to build up the courage to start singing again, I had to determine for myself that the experience needed to be different this time.
Mm-hmm.
In order to do that, I decided what was the one thing that I didn't have that led to all these other things going wrong. I didn't have a plan. So that was my starting point, was to say, what do you want to do? What do you want to do and why was my starting point. But in the process of what you are describing as a journey
Yeah.
to self-discovery or finding self or finding enlightenment, you kind of uh, I'm trying to find the right way to put it. It's like you had all these bits and pieces that were missing.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem, it's very easy. So this is my thing. It's very easy to say, oh, I'm a good person. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, right? And then when stuff goes wrong, you want to blame people who are outside of that. So
Exactly.
I have spoken before about having mental health issues and all of that stuff. And one thing that I've learned during the healing process, especially with, actual psychotherapy, is that the key to the door that unlocks the things you want is self. So no matter what it is, when you do your root cause analysis, the root of the whole thing is going to be, what was your contribution? What did it have to do with you? What did you do about it? And that, like, people like, oh no, but you enable people. Like, why are you blaming yourself? Yeah, blame yourself unless you are blameless. If in the circumstance there is nothing that you contributed for something to go bad, that's a different story. But when it comes to failure, there are a lot of times when you don't fail because of something that was outside. You fail because maybe you overlooked something, or you didn't put in the right amount of effort, or you let other people control, but it's something that you had a hand in. And so having to sort of examine that and say, I didn't like this experience, but what was my contribution to it? In the spaces where it's like my contribution was absolutely nothing, or it was, okay, maybe in that place I should have had somebody else speak on my behalf, or I should have, you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
as a result, those things now inform the way you move, because now you're not going to go back and make the same mistakes, because if you go back and make the same mistakes, you have the same result. And I know that I don't want that result. So it changes the way that I look at the whole thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like learning from
Kind
your
of,
mistakes.
Yeah.
yeah. It kind of explains the songs that you do right now, because they're more of inspiration, and they're more of kind of, I've learned this, now I have to pass it on to other people to learn my journey. And Ten Kwacha, by the way, is like an awesome song.
yeah, it's a really, really good song.
Thank
It
you.
conveys so much emotion. Like, yeah, it just made me
Yeah.
like look back in retrospect, and
Thank you.
I
I'm
almost
so
broke
proud of
down.
Ten Kocha. Oh, I am so proud of Ten
Yeah,
Kocha. Thank you.
yeah.
Uh,
Did you have any other goals and aspirations besides music?
I wanted to be a lawyer. That didn't work out.
Oh, Ziale. Oh,
No, I just
oh, it just
I didn't even get that far. My sister, though,
yeah.
I'm so proud of my sister. My sister did, and my sister is amazing.
Oh,
And my
nice.
sister is like, my sister is just like everything I want to be. Like when I look and I'm like, if I wanted to be somebody else, I'd want to be my sister. My sister's amazing. Like, so she finished.
Awesome.
She
Yeah.
did Ziali, and I'm so proud of my sister. So she did that, and it's like maybe I was dreaming it on someone else's behalf, because I thought I
Yeah.
wanted to be a lawyer, and I thought that I could be a lawyer because I can speak,
Yeah.
which tells me a lesson I learned from that is that just because you can do something doesn't mean that the reason you can do that is what you think it is.
Mm.
So maybe I'm supposed to be a pastor when I'm 45.
I can see
So
that actually.
I being a
Mm.
pastor.
Not really being just somebody who's
Well,
a mentor,
I
maybe.
do want to be a youth mentor, but I need
Nice.
to get my life in order first.
Yeah,
And
that
so
role would fit. That one would feel
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, I do want to do that. But I that was the one thing that I knew I wanted to do. The other things that I did want to do were so like I'm a little creative, so I wanted to work with food.
Okay.
I also wanted to work with like decor, interior decor, like events decor, like making things beautiful is something that I wanted to do. I still want to do that. I'm still gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to work with like beauty. So those are the things that I wanted to do. I didn't know whether it was like maybe I'll do hair and makeup, or maybe I'll own a line, or maybe I'll own a salon.
Nice.
I didn't know, it had no form or function. I just knew I wanted to do something to do with
I
making
like that.
people feel
I
beautiful.
like what you're saying. You
What's going on? This book okay.
oh, I think
Surprise.
my thing. I think it paused people.
Oh yeah.
So I thought there was silence there.
Yeah, so I did want to make people feel beautiful, and I wanted to make
Anyways, I was
places look
saying
beautiful.
like the things you're saying. Yeah,
Bruh, relax.
not.
Imagine there's no
Sorry.
imagine there's no silence, Muka. Imagine there's no silence. It's just a latency issue. It's just a latency issue. Carry on, Scarlet. Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to make people feel beautiful, and I wanted to make places look beautiful,
Yeah.
and I wanted to work with food. Those three things I still want to do.
Nice.
And so those three things I think are me, and so I'll do those things. And then there's music, which we'll see what ends up happening. I might end up doing it for another 50 years and not do anything else. And I want to be a mom. Like, I have an amazing mom, and I want to be a mom. So like those are the things that, like, to me, aspiration is maybe the wrong word, but I feel like
Yeah.
those are paths that I want to walk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Sweet. And as far as your team is concerned, what exactly is it comprised of? What roles are taken up in your team? Like,
So right now
yeah,
I have people that are doing like, like social media, like putting the brand out there. I
yeah,
have people that are doing that. And then I have people that are putting the brand out there. And then I have people that are in the background helping me create the music.
yeah,
So that's what my team is split into, what's in the background. So my creative cocoon has
yeah,
got people in it that arranging and the
yeah,
instrumentation and like all of that, and like do that together. And then outside of that, I have other people that deal with, oh, there's a song out, we're going to push it this way and whatever. So we've been trying to put things in order in the background to
yeah,
begin with, in order for us to just make sure that stuff is done professionally. because like I said, I'm trying to break the ceiling. So if somebody from Sweden or France or whatever looks for me, they need to come and see things have been put in order. So that's what we've kind of been working on in the background. But in the meantime, also just making sure that people know that, you know what, I'm singing and I love singing, and here's a little song for you. And but that's why you've seen these 3 songs that have come out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a twofold sort of setup. There's people in the background that are working with me to create everything, and then there's people that are in the forefront that are pushing what we're creating. So it's like, oh, we've done this, we've done that, and we're working on this. And I have like really amazing people. You know, I have a really cool chick called Regina that's helping me with my website. I have another Peter that's working with my social media. I have a bunch of guys in Nigeria that are helping with like getting my sales platforms ready,
Oh
so that when
wow.
the songs go up, they'll all be like on the right places and not just limited to like what we can find over here.
Nice.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
I have the guys at Investisani as well who are like in my corner and helping me push my stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, locally, the radio stations. I've been really terrible at the radio stations, so this week I actually want to go in person and just say hi to everybody.
Cool.
So that's just gonna happen. Like, so it's a lot of people, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of people, and just
Yeah.
wanting to sort of let everybody feel like they own a little piece of it. Because if you feel like something is yours, you commit to it. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of like what I'm trying to do. So I have my little team of people that are like my little bunch that are like pushing with me, and I love them and they're doing such a good job. And then I have people outside of that that like are like my network that I'm, you know, tap, you want to help me with this, and like everyone's kind of pulling together. So that's cool.
Nice. And then
Yeah.
you mentioned your love for branding and working with beauty and aesthetics. So are you hands-on as far as like the branding aspect of things is concerned?
For
Um,
Scarlet,
yeah, for Scarlet. Like,
yeah,
are you
because I
pretty
have to wear
much
the
on the
clothes and I
ground
have
with
to
it?
like the
Yeah.
painters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
choose, I choose everything. I choose everything, like from the earring to the photographer. I
Oh,
choose
nice.
everything. So I'm styling myself right now. I may get someone else to jump on it and help me.
Yeah.
If I want to experiment a bit. But for now, I'm just doing everything by myself. Like, aesthetically, I want it to be authentic. I don't want to do things or put out an image that I can't sustain on my own. So that's what it is that I'm just like, this is me with a stage name. That's it. There's no
Yeah.
alter ego here.
Nice. And
Yeah.
so you do feel like the brand
Hi.
is an important thing, right?
Yeah,
Sick.
I do. I think a brand is a representation of the message that you're trying to send to the world. And so you have to be careful with it.
Yeah.
You can't be
Awesome.
sloppy. Because if it's sloppy, then you're saying that you're sloppy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 I usually ask artists and creatives what gives them a sense of wonder, but I'm assuming it's beauty on your part, maybe the the world in general, like the beautiful part of the world. But let me not answer that for you. So I'll just go ahead and ask the question if you haven't answered it already.
Mm,
It's a hard
people,
question.
the resilience of people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. A human being's ability to survive,
Mm.
propensity to survive is, yeah.
Do you hold Darwin in high regard, or are you familiar with his philosophy?
No,
Yeah,
philosophy is a really
oh,
weird thing,
his
because
theory. Yeah,
people who wrote those theories in the 1800s
yeah.
would probably change their minds about a few things if they lived right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I take all that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah,
The human nature's propensity to survive, the fact that people go through things and live through them, for me, yeah, that's like it stays with me.
Yeah.
There's stories I've heard and people I've met and places I've been and stuff that I've seen happen, which literally has me sitting there like, wow, that really happened. And so for me, I think beauty is neither here nor there. It's subjective. But people are wondrous things.
They are.
Amazing.
They are. The
That's
fact
So
that
you,
people can, a person can be driven to the apex of success by a stupid thing like revenge or a grudge
mm,
or a comment that was passed that a person didn't like, Michael Jordan. But
mm,
people are amazing.
yeah, nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So on you on your description, you say singer, songwriter, and a vessel. Would that attribute to you um, to the approved description of good workman or woman by God? The description of God's approved workman. That's in Timothy 2 verse 2 or something. Or maybe you're
I
just
haven't
a
actually
vessel
got
of
that
melodies.
far.
Oh yeah?
No. I think everybody carries something. That's what a vessel
Mm,
is, isn't it?
yeah.
Something that carries something. I think everybody carries something. I carry something. I don't know quite fully what that is yet, but I know that I carry something. And the reason why I'm here is for me to carry that thing until it's done.
Mm, that's
So
cool.
that's, for me, that's my understanding of my purpose in this world. And I must protect that thing, whatever that thing is. So right now, this part of my life is called figuring out what I'm carrying.
Mm,
So,
amazing.
are you at liberty to talk about what gave you a mental breakdown or meltdown? Uh, if I recall correctly,
I don't know.
okay, maybe not correctly. We could just scratch the surface, but I think my introduction to you was on Smooth Talk years back. Should have
Yeah.
been 2006, if not earlier. But I was a little itty bitty kid then, and I was like, she sounds different. She doesn't sound like, you know, I'm not gonna drop names, but she's some the whole jazz vibe you had back then when you came onto the scene was different, even for me as a young kid still trying to understand music. And then all of a sudden you like disappeared, and
Yeah.
then we started this podcast thing. We got on Twitter and we're like, oh wait, Scarlet still sings. And that's pretty much when I figured out that, oh, you were still here, but you took a sabbatical or some kind of hiatus for like reasons that you might be at liberty to disclose or not.
I can disclose them. No, I mean, so over a gradual period of like 2 years, I went through a really large number of different things, personal and professional, that made it a little bit difficult for me to cope, you know, function. So the result of that was a buildup of stuff that became baggage that I was carrying around that I wasn't really doing well with. And then I just cracked. So you crack, and it's like, okay. And what ends up happening for me, what ended up happening was that I was unable to function um, as normal. So I couldn't write. I had writer's block for like 2 years. Um, Physically, my body was in really bad shape. It affected my voice. My throat was in really bad shape. So stuff just wasn't going according to plan. At this point, I haven't actually fully recovered in terms of my voice. Um, and so all of those things were things that like I didn't really tell anybody about. I was just like going through it, and you talk about the easy things to talk about, which are like my boyfriend has done this, and like I'm heartbroken or whatever it is. You don't talk about the stuff that, for me, you don't talk about the stuff that you don't understand, or the stuff that makes you look weak, or the stuff that could make you look stupid. So those things I just sort of kept to myself. And so combination of all of those things, I woke up one day and I was like, you know what, I don't want to sing anymore. So that was really what it was. And then, you know, if you some more time passes and you start sort of saying that thing I asked you about, what does your life look like right now and what do you want your life to look like? And that gap, closing that gap meant, okay, for me to get to there, I have to heal. And a lot of those things came out of like personal experiences where there was stuff going on for me behind the scenes, you know, with people that I was close to or people that I like, people that I love, where it was like, you can't continue being this person. You have to stop being this person. And in order to stop being this person, there are these things that you need to deal with. And so starting to deal with those things and unpacking those bags and get rid of all of that garbage, you get down to the nitty gritty of who I am and what matters to me. And getting to a healthy place, it was like, no, you know what? I really, really, really love singing.
Mm.
It's something that I do it makes me happy. And so I'm going to get myself back to a healthy enough space, a safe enough space, a brave enough space to be able to do it again because I miss doing it. It's something that I love. And so that was the coming back into it. But if I hadn't gone on that journey for the sake of other things, I was done. I had made up my mind that I was never going to sing again.
Mm. Deep. So,
Yeah.
are you a mental health
Been-
advocate in that regard? If you are, have you
I
spoken?
don't know enough. I
Yeah.
don't know enough to be a mental health advocate in
Yeah.
the I don't know enough. So I'm on a journey of healing myself.
Yeah.
And once I feel like I'm at a properly healed stage, I will then want to go on a journey of educating myself in order for me to be able to help or advocate for certain things.
Yeah.
So I do not describe myself or I'm not a self-proclaimed anything. And so I am not a mental health advocate
Yeah.
not because it's something that is not important or it's something that I do not want to attach myself. It's work that I actually am very, very dedicated to getting involved in.
Mm-hmm.
But at this stage, I do not know enough. I've been approached by people and I'm always happy to help.
Yeah.
But as a helper, like as a volunteer to say like, this is something that happened to me and I'm open to talking about it. Not to say that I'm a mental health advocate because I don't know enough. It's a very sensitive thing. And I do not know enough to start softboxing about any of it. Until I am educated enough to be able to speak to other people's experience and how certain things work, I don't want that title. And I don't like titles anyway.
Why is that?
Don't like them.
No labels.
I just don't. I feel like titles just limit you. I think titles limit you. People think that titles elevate them. But
Yeah.
have you noticed how when someone does a job and that job that they do it so well and that was their title for the rest of their life, that's the thing you remember them for.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't like titles.
That's profound. Yeah. Much limiting yourself, putting yourself in a box.
Yeah, I don't like.
Yeah. Is
It's
there a
good
latency?
to stand for things. It's important to stand for things.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of labels. I'm not a fan of boxes and framing me in and coloring within the lines, as I like to put it. I don't not. I like I think everyone should be free to grow into whatever their destiny is
Yeah.
without being limited to a job or a title or expectations of others or expectations of where you sit. I think everyone should be free to grow into who they are supposed to be in this life, whether that's 5 million different things or just one thing that they do really well.
Yeah. And then as far as like mental health is concerned, it's sort of stereotypical within this region, like the African region. I don't know if people are more in tune with it now, but it's kind of looked at as some kind of a weakness and not really an ailment. What's your take on that? Uh, do you believe that it's like, as maybe for example something like depression? People say, not people but professionals say that it's an actual disease, it's an ailment. But if you look at it from the African spectrum, most people are ignorant towards it. They just say, oh, it's all up in your head, it's not really an ailment and whatnot. What's your angle as far as that is concerned?
I think ignorance is dangerous.
Mm.
I think that, like I said, if someone comes to me and says to me, why did my mom die? Sometimes it's important to say that they don't know. A person who is careless enough to speak on something like depression and say it's not a real disease,
Yeah.
or whatever other foolish thing they'll say,
Yeah.
is speaking from their ignorance, from their lack of knowledge or their lack of experience, like having never experienced it. Is a very dangerous human being. I do not like to talk about things, and I'm always very careful to say, this is what I think. This is my thing.
Yeah.
Your thing might be different. Both of us might be wrong.
Yeah.
This is what I think. I'm never afraid to say what I think, but I stay away from making statements about things that I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Before I knew that I suffered from depression, it wasn't something I ever researched or thought about.
Yeah.
Until it happened to me, in the sense that until a doctor told me what you're describing sounds like ABCD, then I'm like, oh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up until that point, I never had any kind of conversation about it.
So okay, so in
So
tandem, oh sorry, carry on.
it's dangerous. It's dangerous for people to get up and make statements about things that they don't understand. And that for me is the biggest issue that I have. You cannot prescribe to someone a solution for a thing that you don't know.
Yeah.
If you come and tell me a snake has bitten me, I don't know what snake it was. How do I tell you what to do?
Mm.
People just need to think like that and stop talking about things unnecessarily. That's what I think.
Cool.
I agree.
Then in line with the music as well, and depression and anxiety and mental health, do you use the music as a vent, or rather as a conduit for escapism, or is it more for an experiential thing? Like do you only write songs to escape, or do you write the songs to like learn something new about yourself or experience something new, or be a vessel of sorts in that regard? Pretty much know the answer
I
to that.
write the songs as they come to me, and
Oh,
each one has their own role.
yeah.
Like each one has their own place in this world. I write them the way they come. I don't go into the booth thinking about
Yeah.
this is this is what I'm trying to do today. I just go in and I say, okay, today I want to write a song about this, and I write a song, and that's really it.
It's all just a natural progression. Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, I can't say like this was this and this was that. Songs just happen.
Yeah.
And the experience is different every time. The performance is different every time. It just depends.
Mm. And has your family been supportive from the get go, like from day one when you told the music was something that you wanted to pursue?
Yes, my family. I come from a really amazing family. So my family, we're the kind of people that like we help each other.
Yeah.
We support each other, we help each other, we have each other's backs. And so they've always been like, they crack their jokes and stuff, but like they're in my corner, they help me when I need help. So I have a very supportive family.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then spirituality as well, in line with your music. Are you one who'd be biased as far as like your spirituality and your music? Like, do you keep those two separate, or do they, are they two sides of the same
No.
coin? Yeah.
You can't keep things that you if you believe in something, it's part of you.
Yeah.
You can't separate it from your art.
Yeah.
It will inform your art. It might not be the main subject of discussion every single time.
Yeah.
But it will inform your art, because as a result of what you believe, there'll be things that you can and cannot do, things that you can and cannot say, things that you can and cannot speak about, even if you have opinions on them. And so I don't separate.
Yeah.
And where I am spiritually will always reflect in my content or my behavior at any given time. So if I'm falling off or whatever, you'll be able to tell if you know me.
Yeah.
And if I'm in a very prayerful mood, you'll be able to tell if you know me that this is where this person is, this is where it is on the temperature scale. And so I don't fake things. I don't do things in compartments. I live as an organism that is going one way.
Yeah.
People that I know are good with putting stuff in little containers and saying, I'll deal with this tomorrow, or I'll deal with this next week, or this and this can't go together. So I'll look at this first and then I'll look at, I do everything at the same time. It's exhausting, but it's real. It's who I am. So there's no separating for me. I just I'm a little bit more careful now that I'm older with what I put out there.
Yeah. Because I was trying to go. Oh, sorry.
And also knowing that I have people in my life that I have to protect, and things in my life that I have to protect. So I don't put everything out there anymore. Before I was very careless about that, but I've changed my perspective.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to go back to like your statement of like limiting yourself and boxing yourself. If I don't want to open a Pandora's box here, but like as far as like genres are concerned, and people go like, oh, okay, I'm a Christian artist, so I'll just do Christian music, and some people call themselves Christians that do honest music, for example, and others will be Christians that only do Christian music. I wanted to know what your take was on that. Is it pretentious? Is it superficial in a way, or?
I have no idea. I'm not those people.
But your opinion is plausible in this discussion.
I have really stopped having opinions about other people.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't live in a vacuum. I just feel that other people are a variable that I have no desire to try and control.
Yeah.
So I don't really care what the next person is doing. They're here for their reason. I'm here for mine. I'm concerned with mine.
But okay, if if a theologian like tried to argue that statement and say you have to be accountable in that regard, like you have to be deliberate and accountable, what would you say to that?
I would say until I go to Bible school, I have no rebuttal.
But as a Christian,
as a Christian, the Bible says that we must not judge.
Yeah, we must not judge.
Exactly.
But so I'm not talking about like people in general. But let's say, for example, someone that you're close to, like a friend, and that person sort of like doing their thing, and you know that their thing isn't exactly, I don't want to say isn't exactly right within the parameters of your beliefs. Would you still have the same approach towards that? Would you say, hey, it's to each his own, like it's all on you, fam?
If someone is really my friend, it would be remiss of me to not say something if I feel that they're going down a dark path.
Yeah.
So, and as far as talking about it from the angle of a friend, I would have to say, yo, are you okay? Like, is this really what we're doing? What they say, their response to that is their response to that, and I have to respect it. Everybody's journey is different, and everybody's journey is theirs. I do not have the right to curate other people's paths through this life.
Yeah.
Any more than anybody has the right to curate mine. So as a friend, I'd obviously be like, yo, are you alright? That's where I stop.
Yeah.
Unless someone comes and says, help me, then that's different.
Cool.
Interesting.
And as far as like working with other artists, are you picky in that regard, or okay, let me not say picky, but are you meticulous in that regard?
No, I'm picky. I'm just picky.
Okay.
I'm just picky.
Yeah.
Vibes have to match. If my vibe doesn't match your vibe,
Straight
we can't work.
points.
That's it. I don't even care. Like,
yeah,
we respect each other in the street. I don't have to work with you.
yeah.
And just be respectful.
Have you ever gone through such a situation or that kind of encounter where an artist that sort of like reveres you, but you don't exactly feel the same about them, has like approached you and been like, oh, okay.
It's happened to me in reverse.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't even an artist that I revered. It was just an artist who were on the same level doing the same things, similar things.
Yeah.
And they passed a comment about not wanting to align their brand with mine. And I was just like, okay, cool. But that experience is what made me very careful about what I attach myself to. So I respect everybody and I respect everybody's craft.
Yeah.
But I don't have to work with you if we don't vibe.
Yeah. It shouldn't be contrived.
If we're cool, if we're cool, we vibe the same, we have the same value system or similar value system, we want to send the same message out there, and we have a similar work ethic, then we'll work. But that is a rare thing to find for me. There are musicians here that I would do 100 songs with, but everyone gets tired and be like, why is she always singing with that person? So then there are other people that I'd never do a song with, not because I don't like them, but just because there's no common ground.
Yeah.
So if there's common ground, we can work. It doesn't even matter what the genre is. But if there isn't, then we can just respect each other from a distance and support each other's work. And that's it. Collaboration is tricky. It's like marriage. You can't marry just anyone.
That I feel that explains. I feel that explains why, because I've seen. At first, I wasn't sure about you working with James Sakala until I saw him in a couple of your videos.
James taught me everything I know.
Oh, nice.
That's...
So he's pretty much he's been like a mentor to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Any other mentors that you've had, or people that have just been inspirational and super helpful to you ever since you got into this thing?
Musically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a long list. I mean, Pompey,
Oh, nice.
Mag 44.
Yeah.
Those are people that like we came out at the same time and they pushed, and I've always looked at them and been like, wow, that's really cool. I want a gang like that.
Yeah.
Auntie Maureen,
Oh,
who
nice.
has been like in my corner from the first time I ever met her.
Yeah.
So many musicians. When I say musicians, I mean like the guys that play in the bands.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
I've worked with so many musicians, like just kids that are just learning.
Yeah.
And I've just been like, can you please come play with me? I have this gig. And they're like, yeah, sure. And you pay them like a 1,000 kwacha and they do the hour with you. So many musicians that have just like helped me to move. My band are both the band is Elect Band.
Oh, nice.
They like,
yeah.
yeah,
I know those
they,
guys.
They're
Yeah.
like my brothers. Yeah,
Sweet.
they're like my brothers, but at the same time, I look up to them so much because of how serious they are about what they do.
Yep.
Wow. And then you have like Superman, that's so good. Bath, that's so good. Those guys helped me to start and they helped me to continue. My list is really long.
Yeah.
Really, really long.
And
Radio, man, I wouldn't be here without radio.
yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you get airplay on the radio?
I think a Scarlet song plays every day, has played every day for the past 10 years.
Dope.
Somewhere a Scarlet song plays every day. Nice. Which I'm very grateful for because nobody owes me that.
Yeah.
But they do it.
Well, they kind of do as far as like the DJs are concerned. That's kind of like their job. But yeah, that's a topic for another day.
No, but they don't owe it to me. They can play whatever they want to play.
Whatever else they want to play?
They can play whatever they want to play, but they choose to play my stuff. So for me, that's like huge.
Because it's substantial.
It matters.
I feel like we need more substantial music in these trying times.
The music is uplifting.
Yeah.
You said that.
My words. You exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was my question? I'm having
spiritually. Who are the people who have been in your corner for a while?
My mom, my grandparents.
Nice.
That's like it.
That's it?
My
no
mom
pastor
no.
from your church. Yeah. Which church do you go to, by the way?
Wait. Hang on.
Oh.
Mutamala Mwale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't even know if he'll watch this, but yeah, Mutamala.
Shout out.
Yeah.
And as far as like being a performing artist is concerned, how has this COVID situation affected you? I know it's a totally like cliche question, but like, has it like slowed your role?
Yeah, I've obviously been unable to work. So,
but
coming out in a year like this one has been a little bit difficult because it's like oh, I hit the ground running and then the ground stopped. So that's been a little bit, but like I said, everything happens for a reason. So
yeah,
I'm not feeling any kind of way about it. I'm just gonna do what I can until I can do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And
since Mocha is lagging over there, I'll take up his role as the controversial guy. He's usually the controversial guy here. Are you a conspiracy theorist? So, okay, as far as like COVID is concerned, do you believe it was genetically enhanced in like a bio weapons lab somewhere and then like sent out to the world to like, I don't know what the incentive was, or do you believe it just happened out of like natural causes and it is what it is?
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that.
Yeah.
Like on the one hand, I feel like someone may have deliberately made it, and then it went wrong. And then on the other hand, maybe it's true that someone just ate a bat or a rat or whatever that went wrong. So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
You're on the fence
I
with
just
it.
think everyone should. Yeah, I'm on the fence with it. I just think everyone should keep safe. Like everyone should be safe, and everyone should like take the precautions that they need to take, because being sick doesn't help anybody. Dying is even worse, and people are dying. So
Yeah.
as much as we're like, it's not that bad here, we should take it seriously because it's not going away anytime soon.
Mm.
Wait,
Yeah.
how do you know that?
The norm now.
I don't think it's going away anytime soon. The
Yeah.
fact that numbers are rising here should tell you that. Just when you get comfortable, then numbers start to rise. So I think it's
The
gonna be
real
here a
numbers.
while.
Yeah.
The real numbers.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't talk about things that I don't know.
Yeah, you said it. We'll move away from that. What are you working on currently?
So I'm going in to start recording the album this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
Do you have a name yet?
That's all you can give out. You're not at liberty to disclose much.
Finding My Way.
Sorry?
It's called Finding My Way.
Oh, dope.
Finding My
Nice.
Way.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll wait for that.
I'm excited.
When is it out? When is Tenkwacha part of?
Okay, now I want to hear a demo. I want to hear live singing.
No. You have to pay for that.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, business.
Yeah, well, I'm aiming to have it out by the end of the year. So we're looking at December for a drop month. Hopefully we'll be able to put a show on, then that will make me happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Any artists that you'd love to work with? Alive, dead?
I really want to do a Salty Soul record, man.
What? Who?
I really want to do like a Salty Soul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Richard.
I don't know Sauti So.
What?
Look it up.
Uh-huh.
How
Yeah.
dare you?
Google.
I'm just gonna.
Google, man.
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
But why Salty Soul?
I think that they are. There's something really beautiful about what they do, and they don't limit themselves to like what would sell. They just make beautiful music, and I respect that.
So the vibe is right?
I've never met them, so I don't know.
Oh, so
But
yeah.
But on the basis of of the music that they make, I would love to work with Sauti Soul. I would also love to work with Mikasa. I love Mikasa. They're amazing people. So I would love to work with Mikasa. That just never, we talked about it and then it just never came.
Oh, you actually had the privilege of conversing with them.
Yeah, I performed same stage as them and like hung out with them a couple times. I definitely would really love to do something with Mikasa, you know.
That's not far-fetched.
Especially like next year. That would make me happy. Yeah.
Nice. Favorite artist of all time? Artist, musician? Rather currently.
No, that's
who's yeah, I figured. But who's on your playlist right now? Who are you vibing out to? Oh. Respect. Yeah.
The Lahavas. I was actually when you called me, I was listening to the new one that just came out called Can't Fight.
Yeah. I watched the
Taylor.
premiere. Yeah. Yeah, she's really good. Yeah.
Method Man,
Oh wow.
Jonathan McReynolds,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
Did you see
Muka knows
the
none
slap
of
song
the artists
Method
we
Man
talked
did?
about. The slap song.
no,
Yeah,
no.
there's a slap song he did.
Of
It's
course.
on YouTube.
Of course. He's
I'll
one of the
look it
few
up.
guys that has the privilege to like be goofy whenever he wants to be goofy.
Yeah,
He'll
man.
still be taken
He's
seriously.
really goofy.
Yeah.
I'll definitely look it up. I think I also was listening to the new John Legend. So
His
that's
new
also
album?
on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got his new album a couple of days ago. I haven't listened to it yet. You know, he never
So
disappoints.
I was listening to that. So that's what's on my list.
Nice. How is it so far?
Mhm. I have favorites, so I get stuck on the song,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm currently on the "You Move, I Move."
Nice. Dope.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. It's been awesome talking to you. Unless you have any other questions for us, any last words
How long have you guys
for?
been doing this?
Since we started
Been
last
over a year,
year
actually.
in April. That was last year, April.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots of yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty random actually. It's just
Thank
some
you.
stuff that we like talk about, and it was like, yo, let's just do a podcast because we'd have like lots of profound conversations and be like, yo, if we like had this on tape, you know, or rather we just talked to people about like why they do what they do. It all goes back
Other
like
than yours, what is your favorite podcast?
mine right now.
Like all of yours.
Oh, Moses, you go first.
Mine, Critic and Lee.
Okay.
Chungo. That's the Chungo, actually.
Wait. Favorite Ethos podcast episode or podcast?
No,
in general?
like to like listen to.
Oh,
Let's see. I've been
Joe Rogan Experience.
the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, that's
The what?
like the Joe Rogan Experience.
Okay.
I've been listening to. Well, I like philosophy, so I've been listening to this podcast called Philosophize This. There's this other podcast that's to do with tech and artificial intelligence because I'm a super geek as far as that's concerned. So it's called the Lex Friedman Artificial Intelligence Podcast and the Infinite Monkey Cage. I'm a science nerd, so I like that stuff.
And
Yeah.
Peter?
Wisecrack, philosophy, theology, stuff like that. They're even on YouTube.
Okay, cool. I will look these up.
Should.
Always.
Awesome.
My favorites are like the Joe Budden podcast and
Joey. Joey.
Oh,
Joey
guy.
can't stop running his mouth, man.
Yeah.
Very
and
controversial.
the Skin Deep. Those are my favorites. And also Cups and Conversation. A
Nice.
bit vulgar, but funny.
If you can stomach the vulgar language, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's funny, but they can be really gross sometimes.
All right.
Joe Rogan. Rogan is warning.
I'll definitely look all of these up. Thank you so much for having me, you guys. It's been fun.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been enlightening.
We're so grateful.
Welcome. It was a good time. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's been awesome.
This is like one of the as well.
Have a good night. Keep enjoying your.
Have a good week.
Have a good week as well. Yeah.